Hey everyone! This is Junus with another episode of 30 Things I Learned From You. Lesson number 15 is one of the most important lessons that I've learned in the course of this relationship. And that lesson is, love knows no boundaries. When we first started going out, my boyfriend told me about this girl from Long Island that he used to date. But that obviously didn't work out, partly because of the distance. Now that got me a little bit worried because I'm from New Jersey, so he's gonna be doing quite a bit of driving in this relationship too. And if you factor in the 3 obstacles I mentioned in lesson 13, plus this one big one which I haven't mentioned yet, and that would be, when we first started dating, I was deathly afraid of driving to New York. It just wasn't gonna happen. So he would end up doing most of the driving in the relationship. So that's why I was a bit skeptical going out with him. But as time went along, he got an easy pass, so it's easier for him to travel from New York and New Jersey and back. And we grew fonder and fonder of each other. So eventually we started getting comfortable with this arrangement. And just when we did, another obstacle struck us right on. It was an icy mid-December night. My boyfriend and I were driving back home to my place when he lost control of his car and crashed into the median on the highway. Luckily, neither of us got seriously hurt, but the car was completely destroyed. My fears returned. Without a way to meet up, how would our relationship survive? A couple of his friends even became upset at me after the incident. And yet, we found a way around it. First, it was a train. Luckily, both of us lived close to a train station. Sometimes we would meet up in the city, then, if it was our intention, we'd take the train home together to his place. Sometimes, he would take the train to the station close to my place, and sometimes I would drive to another station to pick him up, just to make his trip shorter. I got to know New Jersey Transit pretty well because of it. This went on for more than 6 months, without me ever driving over to his place. There's a really cute reason for that actually. His own Filipino way of thinking. As my mother explained to me, Filipino tradition says that the man is supposed to take on all the burdens in a relationship. But as I explained in previous lessons, that's not how I think. I think more of the American way in which both genders are equal. So I felt so guilty making him do all the work, just because I didn't want to drive into the city, or New York for that matter. As much as I kept on apologizing to him, he was insistent. Simply, he said, "It can't be helped. That's just my burden as the man in the relationship." So finally, I told him, I'm driving to New York. Didn't even give him a choice. My own guilt trumped Filipino tradition. But he was reluctant to let go, especially with his own mom prodding him. Even though I drove myself to New York, he was still insistent on driving me back to New Jersey, and then taking the train back to New York. So, we went through 2 months of this before he finally let me drive myself home. And so, he didn't have to take the train to and from New York all the time. Finally, he got a car. It was great to stretch my car's legs out, but it's good to have someone else's car to drive in. And so the lesson learned is, if something is worth the trouble doing, then the heart will find a way to get over all the obstacles to do it. As he told me once, trust me, you're worth the time, the effort, and the money. That's all for today's lesson. I'll see you all next time.